I think, Jack, last night I did the weirdest interview I think I've ever done.
What can you reveal about this interview, Tom?
Well, I can reveal the whole thing because it is on the Cultaholic Wrestling News podcast right now. If you're subscribed to us on the podcast feed, you get daily wrestling news podcasts, normally that go up before the news videos. And every so often we'll get interviews offered that maybe might not fit on the channel. We'll pop it on there. I had a chat with Virgil yesterday, Soul Train Jones. And we're plugging. Do you remember how excited I was about his video game Meat Sauce Madness?
Yes, I do.
Do you remember this? So it was what an opportunity to chat to the man behind it. I had questions prepared. Didn't use any of them.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I describe it as an interview. Do you know what? Download the podcast. Have a listen for yourselves. But do that after you've heard the wrestling news. Thanks, Virgil. Love your work. A WWE Raw Star has moved to NXT. A title match has also been set for next week's episode of NXT. And we have details on scrapped plans for the New Day's split. That's been revealed. We'll talk about that in a bit. Last night's NXT, bit of a mixed bag, I think, creatively. Some good stuff in there, some head scratches in there. In particular, this particular Raw Star that is now back on the black and gold, Jack. Who are we talking about?
Seemingly, yeah. We're talking about Mandy. Mandy Rose, yes, of course. She came out onto the stage and she didn't, attack anyone or anything. She just watched as Saray beat Gigi Dolan, and then Mandy looked impressed. She was like, "Okay, Saray, I see what you've got in the ring. So possibly we're going to see a match between those two." She also interacted a little bit with Frankie Monet and the Robert Stone brand, but there wasn't any sort of alliance really suggested. And tweeted after her appearance, "I'm back," suggesting perhaps that this is her new permanent home. But my question to you, Tom, is this what's going on? Is she now a full NXT superstar once again?
It certainly seems that way, and on the outside, it wouldn't make any sense because on Raw, her and Dana Brooke, aka Dandy, were very much in the mix for the women's tag titles. But hey, tell me of a time when WWE haven't just dropped angles like they're hot coals just to move people around. So I think the logic would suggest now isn't the time to do it. But sod it, let's break them up. This is potentially the second time in about 5 days that WWE have mixed and matched the women's tag team division, because we saw Shotzi and Tegan Nox arriving on SmackDown. Now Shotzi and Nox are part of the SmackDown roster page, so that's set in stone. Ember Moon left out in the cold on that one. We'll talk a bit about Ember Moon in just a moment. And now this, seemingly Dana Brooke left on Raw while Mandy Rose, not Rose. She's not the American Dream.
Give it all away, I'll take it all away. Mandy Rose.
She's getting a tattoo there of Otis. But apparently so. Weird choice that. We'll see how that pans out, I reckon.
That was very good. That was really good.
That was a nice little bit of back and forth there. I like that. Staying with NXT, away from the American Dream, Mandy Rhodes doing her thing. Raquel Gonzalez got sized up by Xia Li. We've got a women's title match set for next week. Xia Li getting her first ever crack at the Women's Championship on NXT. I have a funny feeling in my water that we're going to see a title change here, Jack.
No,
I can't shake it.
Really?
I can't shake this feeling in me waters that I think she might win it.
Is this because of her spooky stable?
Uber spooky stables, and I whether or not they've got plans to shuffle Raquel Gonzalez to another part of the show, or another brand altogether, maybe.
Well, I mean,
everything seems in a bit of flux at the moment, so it wouldn't surprise me if they're taking the belt off her to move her to Raw or SmackDown already.
Absolutely, we saw that with Bronson Reed just recently, didn't we? We saw him lose the North American Championship. And it seemed pretty prematurely in his reign, actually. It seemed like it was cut short.
But then he rocked up last night on NXT, so now we're a bit like, is he a thing?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm not too annoyed at it. That's what I'm really conflicted on, because on one hand I really like Bronson Reed, but on the other hand Isaiah Swerve Scott's really good as well. So I don't know about that one, but maybe we could see a title change with Xia Li and Raquel. I don't know.
It's an interesting one. Well, more details on what went down on NXT last night on Cultaholic.com. We'll get you details on that on the website a little bit later on today. So Ember Moon lost in fairly decisive fashion to her opponent Dakota Kai on last night's NXT. And then sort of the conversation then moved on to Raquel Gonzalez being sized up by Xia Li. I can't help but feel that Ember Moon's just going to get lost in the shuffle now. Like, because she's so good. And there's even a story there you could tell if you wanted to with Ember Moon. The idea that her tag team partner just sort of left her, just dropped her. And you could tell a story of this performer who's come back, sort of made friends and alliances, and they seem to be disappearing again. But I don't know whether they'll tell that story. I think it's a really good story to tell, but I don't know whether they'll actually bother to do it.
I think that at least there's a better chance of them telling it on NXT than there would be on the main roster, perhaps. So at least there's that. At least there's that shred of hope.
We'll see what happens there. This comes from TMZ this morning. Candy Cartwright, real name Samantha Tavel, has filed for a dismissal for the lawsuit she filed against WWE and Matt Riddle. Now, we don't know what led to this decision. We don't know if there was a financial settlement at the end of this either. But this is a suit that goes back to October that also included, as well as Riddle and WWE, Evolve and Gabe Sapolsky. Cartwright alleged multiple sexual assaults from 2017 to 2020. Now, Riddle throughout this denied any wrongdoing, did admit that they had an affair, but Cartwright's attorney told TMZ yesterday, quote, "The parties have put this in their past and are focused on the future." So that's the latest on that. Don't want to speculate any more on what that is about, but when we know more, of course, you will know more at cultaholic.com. And finally, as we mentioned earlier, the idea of scrapping, the idea of splitting up the New Day seems ridiculous. But it's a conversation that keeps coming around. And Big E was chatting to TalkSport about scrapped plans to split the team up, wasn't he, Jack?
Yes, saying that basically Vince McMahon was planning to break the team up in 2019. Big E said, "I can't really divulge the conversation, but even from the top of the business, the very head of what we do, you know exactly who I'm talking about, he directly told us, hey, this is the idea," and we said, we're not feeling it. This was post-Kofi Mania. There were people who wanted it earlier than that as well, but if we'd done it, we would have missed out on so many great moments. I still think that doing it now or soon, there are great moments to come, and we have a lot more to offer. I think you've seen Happy Clappy New Day for a very long time. I think there's a lot of things we could do. We haven't ever really teased any tension. We haven't done a friendly rivalry. There's things we could do to toe that line.
I'm so happy that they are at the point where they can punch back when people say we want to split you guys up, because it seems I don't want them to ever split up. I like the idea of this just being a tag team and a stable that lasts forever. They go and do their own things. You have, like, you could, as Big E said, you have the little friendly rivalries and stuff in there. But I want this as a team that just carries on forever. And different people get the shine, like in the same way that they got behind Kofi during Kofi Mania when he won the title. I'd love to see them rally around Big E when he beats Bobby Lashley for the WWE title. Make that a thing, you cowards. Okay. And then similarly with success for Xavier Woods, see them all rally behind him then. I just like the idea of this being a very wholesome team that are friends forever. You know?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I really do like the fact that, as you say, they've now got enough clout, enough standing in WWE where they'll say, well, we want to break you guys up, and they can go, well, no. And WWE can't really, they can break them up if they really, really want to, but there's no doubting New Day's popularity. And that's probably a big factor they use, saying, well, you can break us up. Look at all of this merch we've sold. Look at all of this that we've done. Look at all of that we've done. And I think that's a good thing, really, because I agree. I don't think they should be breaking up.
Maybe we're wrong. Maybe let us know in the comment section why you think it's a good idea to break up the New Day. Do so down there. Go on. Maybe tell me what your favourite animal is as well. That's always fun. Just what's yours, Jack?
It's not a popular. Probably a cat. I like
That's
cat.
All right.
I know, but dog people get really offended. So I don't know.
Oh yeah, because when you go, I like cats. Oh, so you hate dogs then?
I do though. I do hate dogs.
Oh,
knock it.
End the news there.
No, don't end it there. No, don't end it there.
Richard, cut it there.
No, Richard, don't cut it. I'm allergic to dogs. I hate being around them. It's not the dog's fault. Please do not end the news video there.
Richard,
seemed like a
cut the
monster.
bit where he says, I'm allergic to dogs. So he just goes, I hate being around.
No, he's not even said his love you bye thing. You can't not
Love
do
you
that.
bye. All seriousness, love you bye. Jack hates dogs.